The cross. Back post. Dubois is there. Straight back in. Oh, it's a goal! Léo Dubois.
Because the rules were against it, he played the simple ball. Dia in for Hurtado. An all-timer from Eric Hurtado.
It's his corner now. The cross. Back post. Dubois is there. Straight back in. Oh, it's a goal! Léo Dubois.
Because the rules were against it, he played the simple ball. Dia in for Hurtado. An all-timer from Eric Hurtado.
Well, it's another Saturday and another time. Welcome, good morning, and of course, this is Battle of the Fans. It's live and exclusive to Spectrum Television. My name is Isaac. Super excited to be back on the show this morning to talk about the biggest stories in football, particularly from the game at Joshua Uti Plateau United taking on Akwa United in a battle of former champions to Remo Stars, of course, in action as well. And to talk about Bendel Insurance and how they've gone 4 back-to-back games drawing. Well, we don't know what's going to be their fate later this weekend. We talk about the Premier League returning this weekend as well. Lots of talking points from there. The title race seems to be going down the wire, the way we're looking at it, particularly Arsenal and Manchester City getting themselves back on track and, of course, getting to win games as much as possible. Well, for Chelsea and Liverpool, the struggle continues for both teams. We talk about the games expected later this weekend. Sadly, for the Manchester United fans, 2 of their top centre-backs are out. Lisandro Martinez and Rafael Varane. How is United going to fare in the absence of their 2 centre? And loads of talking points, this and many more is going to form the crux of the conversation with you this morning. Once again, welcome to the show. You know, you can always be a part of the conversation. Just head to social media and, of course, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at spectrumtv.ng. Go there and, of course, drop a comment in our live feed. We'll take them in the course of the show. Otherwise, head to our website at www.spectrumtv.ng and enjoy wholesome, beautiful content for your viewing delights. And also, of course, let's enjoy the show together. Before we get into all of the big talking points, let's take you through the biggest stories right now. Welcome once again.
It's his corner now. The cross. Back post. Dubois is there. Straight back in. Oh, it's a goal! Léo Dubois.
An all-timer from Eric Hurtado.
It's his corner now. The cross. Back post. Dubois is there. Straight back in. Oh, it's a goal! Léo Dubois.
Dia in for Hurtado. An all-timer from Eric Hurtado.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people, but there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTime's DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Its own destiny and should be referred to as the African opportunity. On Spotlight Africa, we paint the African picture the African way, laced with truth, detail, and the color of the African continent. Join Uyai Anyekan every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Spotlight Africa, telling the African story.
Every society is premised on the quality of relationships forged by its inhabitants. The health of these relationships determines how well people, relationships, organizations thrive and how long they stick together. Join Uyai Anyekan on Connect every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. and on Sunday 2:30 to and Family Life in the 21st century. Real people, real faces, real stories. Connect live on Spectrum Television.
The Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the matters council is leading the evidence in just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Oh, it's a goal! Léo Dubois!
Because the sport can't played the simple ball. Dia in for Hurtado. An all-timer from Eric Hurtado.
Well, thank you very much for sticking around. Still Battle of the Fans live on Spectrum Television. We're talking about news stories right now. Napoli coach Luciano Spalletti says Victor Osimhen will be back for the clash with Hellas Verona on Saturday. Spalletti admits that the plan is for Osimhen to return to action with the aim of being fully fit and prepared for the partner pays UEFA a minor niggle in his adductor muscle while on international duty with Nigeria. The former Lille striker missed Napoli's last 3 games against Lecce and AC Milan in Serie A in the Champions League. Spalletti's side sit top of the Serie A log, 16 points clear of second place Lazio with 9 games left to play, while Hellas Verona sit inside the relegation zone with only 9 games remaining. Well, as we're talking about football stories involving this goal of the week, Nigeria International scored a brace, including a stunning kick as Eaglets held Basel to a 2-2 draw. He becomes the 3rd Nigerian to win the award this season after Yusuf Otumbanjo strike for Punic in the 2-0 win over Slovan Bratislava and Samuel Chukweze's volley against Lech Poznan in the group stage of the competitions, having already put Nice 2-1 ahead seconds before halftime as he met a cross in incredible fashion with an absolute worldie. We're also talking about Nigerians. Super Falcons forward Rasheedat Ajibade has won Atletico Madrid Feminine Player of the Month for March. Ajibade scored 3 goals in 4 league appearances for Atletico Madrid during the month. 23-year-old scored a brace in Atletico Madrid's 2-1 win against Real Sociedad and was also on target in the 3-1 victory versus Alhama. Atletico won 3 and drew 1 in their 4 league meetings in March. Ajibade has scored 8 goals in the Spanish Iberdrola this season. She's 2nd on the top scorers chart behind her teammate Ludmila da Silva. Well, finally, Manchester United centre-back Lisandro Martinez, who missed the rest of the final draw against Sevilla on Thursday. Erik ten Hag's side reduced to 10 men when Martinez was helped off the pitch in the 86th minute. Martinez centre-back partner Rafael Varane also sustained an injury and is expected to be out for a few weeks. Martinez, a World Cup winner with Argentina, was helped off the pitch at Old Trafford by Sevilla's Gonzalo Montiel and Marcos Acuna, his international teammate, who was then placed on a stretcher and carried away for treatment. But these are the stories we're tracking right now. We take another short break and we come back exclusive to Spectrum Television. Right back in a jiffy.
Says here's Cornet now. The cross, back post. Dubois is there, straight back in. Oh, it's a goal! Léo Dubois. say it is corner now. The cross, back post, Dubois is there. Straight.
The Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the matters council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court.
Questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally speaking, join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
One truth not often told is about the transformation that Africa has undergone in recent decades. Africa is shaping its own destiny and should be referred to as the African opportunity. On Spotlight Africa, we paint the African picture, telling the African story.
Every day, we bring you up-to-date information on topical issues affecting the common Nigeria. From issues on politics,
Hello, Nigeria. I remain committed.
security, education, health, lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Uyai Anyeken every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.
allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria Police Force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be the beneficiaries of the death of our brother.
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the matters council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding in course of
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
One truth not often told is about the transformation that Africa has undergone in recent decades. Africa is shaping its own destiny and should be referred to as the African opportunity. On Spotlight Africa, we paint the African picture the African way, laced with truth, detail, and the color of the African culture.
Every day, we bring you up-to-date information on topical issues affecting the common Nigerian. From issues on politics,
Hello, Nigeria. I remain committed.
security. Every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.
which is the only one.
Because the sport can't see played the simple ball. Dia in for Hurtado. An all-timer from Eric Hurtado.
Louis Gasset, it's his corner now. The cross, back post, Dubois is there, straight back in. Oh, it's a goal! Léon Dubois!
An all-timer from Eric Hurtado.
Alright, so thank you very much for sticking around. It's Battle of the Fans and it's live and exclusive to Spectrum Television. My name is Isaac, and of course I'm super excited to be back on the show this morning to take you through the biggest stories making rounds in this footballing sphere, particularly the Premier League, the biggest leagues in the world. And of course, before we get to talk about the stories from the Premier League, there are loads of talking points right here at home. It's March day 14 in the NPFL, and I tell you things are getting quite interesting. Well, before we get into all of this talk, introducing to you the guest in the studio. Billy has been in and around the scene. Was here last week, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and it was good to have you back, Billy, by the way.
Yeah, certainly. I think this league action over the week, you know, heartbreaking moment. Some players got punched.
Heartbreaking for Chelsea fans. It's
heartbreaking for you. Where were the heartbreaking moments for you? I think
for me, heartbreaking moment for Chelsea, no. Heartbreaking moment had to be the Bayern game against, you know, Manchester City. Seeing how Upamecano was just too irritating to watch. I don't know why a player would have to make 9 mistakes within the space of 30 minutes in the second half. It's really, really disgusting, and that actually cost Bayern Munich. I don't know what Tuchel was thinking at that point in time. He should have taken this guy off when he made that first mistake. But at the end of the day, you know, Bayern would have to find a way to get themselves back. They are 3 goals down. They're playing against Sofiam this weekend, and certainly Manchester City looks like they will be running away.
It's good to have you on the show, Umana.
It's good to be back, Mario.
And well, your Arsenal are still chasing the Premier League title. Drop points against Liverpool over the weekend. Talk to us about that title chase, and do you still think that Arsenal has it?
I mean, at this point in time, you've got to say it's a tricky one, because now we're not just 6 points. It's not 6 points. Let no one deceive you. It's 3, because definitely Man City will win their next game in hand.
Yeah.
And then we still have to play Man City. So it's if Arsenal can defeat Man City. But to me, that's not the key game. There's no key game again in this side. It's who can go the remainder of the season without losing.
Do you think Arsenal can go the remainder of the season without losing?
I mean, a couple of weeks back, I would have said yes without second guessing myself. But what I saw against Liverpool, we need that ability to keep the game on lock, to control the tempo of the game.
I'll give a retrospect right now, because, you know, heading into that game, Arsenal were favourites, overwhelming favourites. Liverpool was struggling.
But not on my side.
Well, on so many sides. You know, the bookmakers, the punters, you know, the businessmen said, well, it's going to be, and of course, Pastor Firmino also turned up very good for the team. So what happened for against Arsenal, you know, in that weekend?
Mario, one thing happened, and I would literally say it's the fans. You know, after losing 2-0, and, you know, Liverpool only needed one thing at that point in time. Let's get a goal going into halftime, and, you know, Mo Salah gave them that goal. I think Arsenal managed them keeping 9 clean sheets. But at the end of the day, for Liverpool, they've got loads of things to work on. You know, their precision, converting chances. We saw Mo Salah lose back-to-back penalties. You know, he's lost 2 penalties this season. At the end of the day, these are penalties that have cost Liverpool point. Against Bournemouth, he had the chance to level it up for Arsenal. Firmino, you know, did the dirty.
Well, let's talk about something, because, you know, the hallmark of a good football team is the ability to not just Firmino's strike in the second half, we made it 2-2 and all of that. Talk to us about Arsenal's chances of winning the Premier League in line with what we saw over the weekend, and the fact that maybe they don't have the mental fortitude to manage games.
I think that was the 3rd time we have thrown away a lead and ending up drawing the game throughout the entire season. So you can't say Arsenal don't have that mental strength to keep up.
But in games like this, in consequential games like this, you should
play football. You're not going to listen to the fans. The Liverpool players got hyped up. They got extra, and the Arsenal players were lacking in the sense that, I mean, you could see right from the halftime, second half, Zinchenko was out of the game, Granit Xhaka was out of the game. They could not complete 3 passes together. They could not string in the game. And if you're having players that cannot control themselves, that cannot keep up to the tempo of the game, you take them off. But what he let Zinchenko on the pitch. The goal came from his swing.
Now, let's not talk much. Can Arsenal still win the title, Billy?
I think I'll have to drop this exclusive. I wanted to do that last week by saying no.
Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
Over times, when we've seen big teams struggle, e.g. Chelsea struggle, we see Chelsea hand over trophies to the other side. Chelsea cost Manchester City to win the league by defeating Liverpool. This Chelsea in the month of May.
This particular Chelsea.
That is always the question. Can this particular Chelsea? The question is, which Chelsea are we going to see when they play against Arsenal? At some point in time,
is Arsenal's title in Chelsea's hands?
I mean, that's a hard question because the way Arsenal are going and the way Chelsea are going, you don't know what style they're going to play. You don't know how they're going to approach their games. Because they keep changing managers, changing formation, and they have all these talents. So if that's Arsenal's last game and you're saying, okay, can Arsenal win this to win the league? That's a tricky type for me. I can't give you a straight answer yet. But
Arsenal, Chelsea, Arsenal, City, which is more consequential?
It's got to be the Arsenal City game because once you drop that 3-point advantage, it's game on for City. City have the goal difference. City have the talent to score more goals, to win 5 games in a run, to score up to 10 goals in one match. That's what Arsenal don't have. City are more convincing defensively.
But Arsenal have got some. They will guarantee that they will score goals playing away from goal.
you could be drawing games, but City are winning games.
But at some point in time, there's a difference between playing against a Manchester City and playing against your own rival, club in the same town. I think for me that game against Chelsea, because it's more of a London derby. We've all seen the intensity that comes out, despite the fact Arsenal have won all of their London derbies this season. They've won away from home, despite they will be playing against West Ham on Sunday. By the end of the day, this intensity that comes from a derby match is all
coming games. If Arsenal can defeat West Ham, that's a tricky title.
Let's look at the games Arsenal have got to play before the end of the season. They've got games this weekend. They take on West Ham United. Now, after this weekend, they have a game against Southampton and then City at the Etihad, and then Chelsea then before Newcastle, before Brighton.
The thing is, all these games, these sides coming into these games are trying to change their luck, trying to get out of the relegations. I'm talking about West Ham, I'm talking about Southampton. These sides they're not sides, but then they kept on missing key chances until City capitalized. So now Arsenal need to contain this. Even West Ham have gotten their groove back, winning games, scoring goals again.
In Europe particularly.
So now that's a real problem for Arsenal.
8 games, how many can they win?
I see Arsenal winning 7 of those games and drawing 1, and that one has to be with City for me.
Billy?
For me, certainly I would just have to say 5 or 6, because you've still got a very strong Newcastle side
to face.
Chasing
the top 4.
Literally chasing the top 4. We saw how they bamboozled Manchester United at the St. James Park. And also
City have also got games against Chelsea. And West Ham too.
But this is the thing about Manchester City. This is honestly the thing about Manchester City. There is this part of the season where they don't lose, and this is the season. This is the point where City will go on a long winning stretch. Currently, 9 wins in all competition, and they've scored over 30 goals. Massive from the sides. Last season, 22 home wins and 85 goals already. Same thing with this season. At the end of the day, they've got this intensity. And Pep said something in his press conference. When you're playing 3 to 4 times in a week, it gives you this precision and this intensity to win games. But look at Arsenal. Arsenal are playing once in every week. So at some point, you win today, you relax. That is where the intensity comes.
Now I can show you a leak in that statement Pep Guardiola made, because we've got teams like United playing week in, week out, but they don't still look sharp. We've got teams like Chelsea playing week in, week out, but they still struggle to find goals. It's not about how many times you play in a week. It's about the players and the mentality of your players,
and the kind of team you are,
and the kind of team you are. Because right now, the only team that's keeping up to the pace of Man City, Newcastle United. But if you're looking at the sides that can push City to the final day, it's got to be Arsenal, because Arsenal will not stop scoring.
Right.
But the difference is Arsenal don't have that one outright goal scorer. So if you want to mark City, I don't know why teams don't do it more often. You keep De Bruyne out of the game completely. That's what Arsenal should do against Man City. You keep De Bruyne out. If De Bruyne is out of the game, Haaland is out of the game. If Haaland is out of the game, no one will give Haaland all those key passes to score all those goals. That's what Arsenal needs to do. And for Man City, if you saw the first game against Man City, it was very hard for Man City to contain Bukayo Saka, to contain Gabriel Martinelli. And now we've got Gabriel Jesus back that has been looking like in the best form of his life since he came back from his injury. We've gone back in the side, playing against City. This is going to be a great game for Arsenal.
Alright, so we're looking forward to the action. We've spent already 12 minutes talking about the Arsenal City title debacle, but let's come back home and talk about the NPFL match day 14. Returning later this weekend, loads of talking points, key questions, but let's take you through the matchups expected. Warriors take on Shooting Stars. Remo Stars will take on Bender Insurance. It's a game that should be interesting, guys. Now, here's the context of the story. Remo Stars were on a 5-game winning streak at the start of the season, winning games, defeating every opponent. They had not considered a goal yet. Show that later tomorrow. Now, for Bender, unbeaten so far this season, but they recorded 4 back-to-back draws, and that indicates a decline. What kind of game are you expecting Remo Stars, Bender?
This is going to be a game of revenge versus a game of getting my form back. For the Bender side, they need to get that win. They need to score goals. They need to prove that, okay, yeah, we are not just here out of flop. We are here because we deserve to be here.
Yeah.
For Remo Stars, I mean, I could remember the start of the season that they were scoring and they said, oh yeah, this is going to be definitely the next champion. I think in that run, they faced Aqua United.
Yeah.
They defeated Aqua United.
A couple of big teams.
So you could think, yeah, this side, they're going to do great things this season. But then they went on why you support us. That's what they need to do. Because on one hand, you need to get your revenge for the side that beat you 3-0. And the other hand, you need to start winning games. You need to start putting on key performances week in, week out. So you have to start somewhere. So in this one, it's a tricky type, but I see it as another draw.
A lot of fire was expected in this game because of quality. Aqua United are unbeaten in their last 8 NPFL games this season. And that shows quality. And they want to extend that run for players. But it's in Plateau United's home stadium. What does this mean for Aqua United?
Definitely, it's going to be a very, very difficult game for Aqua United, who this season have won just 1 away games, and they've lost 1, and I think they've drawn, 4 or 5, if I'm not mistaken, of the entire games they've played away from home this season. In their last 13 games, it's been 5 victories for Aqua United, 3 for Plateau United, and we've seen the remaining 5 of those encounters ended in a draw. But there's something that has worked. I can remember. After the first game week of the NPFL, after Aqua United lost at home to Bendel Insurance by 2-0, I said something. They were lacking precision and they needed someone who could convert chances for them. They struggled in their second game, struggled in their third game. But huge tile for Aqua United playing against former champions Plateau United, who have got this same mentality, this same winning mentality. Everyone wants to qualify for the Big 6 tournament. Certainly, it looks like Bendel Insurance will sneak in. Aqua United are currently second, 5 points behind them, Bendel Insurance, and 1 point behind Remo Stars. I think 2 points behind Enyimba, who is currently sitting fourth. Then you've got Plateau United. Plateau wins, they get themselves back into the title change, to move into the Big 6. By them, there is a very, very big title. Aqua United will have little or nothing to lose because they are playing away from home. They've got the intensity to get a draw for themselves, but Plateau United have everything to lose because if they fail to win, then they are reducing their chances to qualify for the Big 6.
What of that? Rivers take on Dakar. Well, it's expected to be a one-sided encounter. Look at Rivers United up here. Dakar's performance has been down here, so sadly it's going to be more like a lopsided game. But we hope for another turn, maybe something of an upset in the game at the Dokia Mesemaka Stadium later tomorrow in Port Harcourt. But also Doma United will take on Mickey Toys as well later tomorrow. Looking at the table quickly, Bender Insurance City up 27 points. Aqua United comes second with 23 position with 18 points. The relegation battle between Nasarawa United and El Kanemi Warriors, 9th and 10th respectively. For Group B, we're talking Nobi Stars at the top with 26 points. Rivers United comes second with 20 points. Niger Tornadoes with 11 points. Wiki Torres at 9th with 12 points so far. We'll have to move on from all of that and talk about something else quickly. Well, guys, there's a story. Now, last weekend, Villarreal took on Real Madrid. The game ended 3-2. And Samuel Chukwueze was the star of the game. He scored twice, not just 2 ordinary goals. Samuel Chukwueze is a youngster, showed a lot of quality, especially this season. 11 goals already scored in all competition of Villarreal, one of his most prolific seasons. At Real Madrid, you think he's going to sparkle and excel?
I mean, the thing about football is you've got players that can handle the pressure of a big side, and then you've got players that crumble under that certain pressure. You saw the same thing with Memphis Depay when he went to Manchester United. He was not ready for that stardom, for that big sport set in him, because the game against Real Madrid, he was sensational. He took on all comers. He left natural on the ground. He made things happen for Villarreal in that game. Not just that game.
Made nonsense of the Real Madrid backline.
And now that's the thing. They want to get someone that not only Vinicius will be carrying the team to create chances. They need someone as well, because Rodrigo is more like an impact player. That's how they see him. They bring him in the second half of games. At top points
in games,
So now they need someone. They need that extra strike force, because Karim Benzema is not going to be there forever. They need to also go get a number 9. Because Vinicius Junior also, when he started at Real Madrid, it was not easy for him. He had these games that he would sit out for 5 straight games, and this, but he kept going and kept going. Can someone Chukwueze do this? Because if you see
that's the question, Billy.
I'll pick it from that point. Can Samuel Chukwueze
exactly the question I want to ask? Can he soak up the pressure? Can he handle the pressure? Because Villarreal is not Real Madrid.
Certainly, you know, even if it has the Real in it,
now
at the end of
one
the day,
Real is in the first part of the name,
and the other one
is in the end, and it shows you the difference.
Huge difference, huge demarcation between, you know, the white and the yellow submarines and the white angels. You know, it shows a very, very huge difference, and this has been one major problem which I think we've you know, outlined regarding Samuel Chukwueze. He's one man who won't give you consistency. He spent literally 4 to 5 seasons at Villarreal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And I can remember their former coach, Una Emery, said something. He lacks consistency. He doesn't give you this, you know, 5-star performance. 8 assists in those last 5 games. You know, 2 assists against Chelsea. I think against in a Clasico, he's got 2 assists. You know, this is a man who has improved over time.
Here's something. Let's not put too much pressure on Samuel Chukwueze, because in Vinicius Junior's first few seasons at Real Madrid,
first 2 seasons,
he was
struggled.
He was disastrous. Yeah. You know, but he was given time. He was given patience. You know, and he's sparkling right now. So, I'm not a seaman. Chukwueze goes there, maybe struggles the first few seasons, but would definitely come through for the team.
No, it's not about right now. Teams are not looking for players that fail to hit their prime before 25. They're looking for players that hit their prime before the age of 20, before the age of 21. Look at Martin Odegaard, players like that. So if he goes to Real Madrid, they expect him to hit the floor running. Just impress the fans. That's how you want. That's how you need to start. Make the fans believe that, okay, I have potential. I can do this. If you're talking about the pressure, look at Nigeria, for example. When they come to play for Nigeria, they fail to always turn up in big games that matters. No, if you can't handle the pressure for your own country, you're going to Real Madrid, one of the biggest sides, if not the biggest side.
I chose not to. Yes, he's got good impression playing in the Spanish La Liga. He's increased his amount of goals contribution from last season. I think last season he had about 15. This season he's got about 22. You know, I think the only person who is high up is what's his name again? Roberto Lewandowski and Vinicius Junior. These are the only 2 Spanish players who have, you know, better goal contribution than Samuel Chukwueze this season. Yes, you know, I think the reason why we are experiencing this panic buying from, you know, Real Madrid is, you know, due to Karim Benzema is out of contract this season. There are discussion going on. Asensio is also out of contract, and then Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo, and who else to turn to? So I think at this point in time, Real Madrid will be making loads of signing for the future. I think they are seeing Samuel Chukwueze as one for the future.
Is he not one for the future?
He is one for the future, but there is a question mark which you know, relates to the consistency, and we know how impatient Real Madrid could be. We saw how impatient they were with Eden Hazard. We saw how impatient they are with, you know, Gareth Bale due to injury.
Let's talk about something. You know, Real Madrid, a fine team, demand a lot from you, but I don't see them as being too impatient. Look at Modric, came from Tottenham rather.
Yeah.
He was in 2009. He was seen as the worst signing. No, not 2017 or so. The worst signing, right?
Should be 9-10.
Yeah, so 9. Yeah, worst signing, right? And then Gareth Bale had an instant impact, and at some point struggle for form. You know, now Eden Hazard, you know, right now is struggling basically. And the reason why Eden Hazard is not getting time is because he's not training much. Vinicius Junior will also be the conversation. You know, Real Madrid know how to be patient with players. Toni Kroos at some point failed to sparkle.
Real Madrid,
you know, so what's so difficult in giving Chukwueze time to sparkle the Real Madrid?
Sorry, Mari, this is the thing. You know, I think under the era of Benzema, they've got Rahul in the mix.
Yeah, they had Rahul. Sent Ronaldo the same season.
Ronaldo was still there, you know. So it was literally very, very difficult for these guys to come in and make major impact, even though they came in very young. You know, for Luka Modric, you still got the likes of Ozil in the mix. You know, they were still, you know, Di Maria playing in that midfield. You know, trying to remember. You know, Xavi Alonso was still there. The Chelsea man who moved them, I think Makalele. Yeah, Makalele was still present at Real Madrid. You know, all of this and command a starting shirt. That's the truth. Because why? Madrid are running out of attackers. We've seen Vinicius Junior play literally, you know, over 35 games this season, playing week in, week out, because there's no one to come into the picture and, you know, allow this man to rest his feet. Yeah, he has been of major impact, but the thing is, it favors Samuel Chukwueze at this point in time because Madrid are short of attacking hands. And are Madrid really that patient? I don't think so, because the truth is, if you're not giving Madrid...
Marco Asensio sadly has not done that. They let Brahim Diaz go because they felt he wasn't mature enough. Now Samuel Chukwueze, left-footed attacker, has got pace, you know, got quick feet, electric feet. These days he's scoring goals, making assists, he can dribble. So now all of these qualities, you think the Madrid, you know, board would overlook that just because he's not consistent?
Definitely, you saw the same case with Diaz, Mariano Diaz, when they brought him in. Said the next round they gave him the number 7 shirt.
Well, Mariano Diaz's story was because he was
make those runs, break defense lines. He cannot do that. He cannot do what Gareth Bale was doing at Real Madrid, because one, he can't shoot the ball. He can't shoot the ball quite well. He can't deliver all those key crosses when you need those key crosses. The only thing is good for in my books is taking on defenders, exposing them, and then once he's behind their defense line, creates those chances to adapt to the system, to change his style of play, to improve his style of play. That is if they want to get someone too crazy.
All right. Now, let's talk about something else before we take a look at the Premier League, guys. Vincent Kompany has less than 3 years experience as a manager of any football team. You know, retired at City, went to Anderlecht as a player coach, spent 1 season as player coach. The next season he was the coach of the side. He was entirely before the Premier League and all of that. Right now the story is that he is the top transfer target for that position as a manager of Tottenham Hotspur. Now, we keep talking about these things. A manager with limited experience goes to a very big team and then fails to sparkle from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to Frank Lampard to Graham Potter and all of that. Talk to us about.
He took them to finals, but he failed to win. So in terms of how he performed with the squad he was given, Lingard, all of them in that squad, he performed quite well.
Should we talk about that, Billy?
I think Graham Potter is one definition of struggles. You know, moving from a small team to bigger team. So 3 to 4 season, letting Mourinho go, letting Santo, what's his name again?
Nuno Espirito
Santos leave. Conte also out of the picture, Pochettino out of the picture. This is the question. Certainly, Daniel Levy wants to win a title, even if he's, the Yorubas will call it Pali, even if it's Katon, let me win something. But this is the thing. They lack this winning mentality. You're bringing in a Vincent Kompany who has not got this same, vast winning mentality. Just 3 years with coaching experience. I don't say it will not be that good. Yes, it will. His style of play is literally something, the Tottenham Hotspur fans will enjoy. Spurs have got the players that, literally fit to the style of, Vincent Kompany. I think the only issue they've got is with their defense. Yeah. And it's something they will work via transfer market. But at the end of the day, this will have to be the major question. What do you want from this man?
Now, let's talk about something. Don't intend to cut you short, Billy. They had Jose Mourinho, a serial winner, and established for the first time in his life, won the Premier League title for the first time in his life, but just could not stay. Now, what's the assurance that Vincent Kompany is that man that will come to Tottenham and stay at Tottenham?
It's obvious that there's a clear pattern here that these two managers that you just mentioned, Jose Mourinho and Antonio Conte, had a problem with the board, not with the squad itself, because it's the same thing at Inter Milan. They do over 1 season and then the board does not give the manager this backing and then the managers end up leaving. It's the same thing Tottenham Hotspur at this point in time, because you can't keep losing top managers and saying, yeah, we're going to get someone better than this, we're going to win the league. It's not about the mentality, it's about the coach that would come in and implement this mentality on that set of players. Because look at Arsenal, for example.
How is it possible, when we talk about mentality, the coaching system, how is it possible that Jose Mourinho and Antonio Conte, who are established, recognized winners, cannot instill a winning mentality?
It has never been the problem of, what's the name again, the coach. First and first, I'll start with, the Mourinho era. He was about to,
win them their first title.
And one Monday morning, someone, Danny Levy, I don't know what he's got in his nose, and then he popped out and them say, hey man, it's over. I want you out of my club. And Mourinho is gone. And they lost that final by a goal to Manchester City. This is a side who has got literally a player who could start in any top team of the picture. I think Arsenal are just graduating to be a big team. So let us just take Arsenal out of the picture.
Okay, Arsenal are not in the list of the teams, the big teams you're talking about.
For me, I would just say Arsenal are graduating.
When you know when big teams when Tottenham is involved, how are you doing that?
I'm sorry. I will team week in, week out.
No,
unless an Arsenal player will be able to score me 20 goals in the league season. I'm sorry. No. It's not my business. It's not my business. Unless an Arsenal player can score. No. I don't have any business with that this season.
No, but
Son has been terrible.
Billy, let's talk about something.
No. Son has been terrible this season. But until an Arsenal player can score me 20 goals in a league, then yes.
You're talking about this player. You've got your front line on that 22.
Let's talk about something, right?
Yeah.
Would Saka start at Tottenham?
At this point in time, yes.
In Arsenal,
let's talk about something.
Yeah.
You said that despite the fact that Tottenham players have not performed very well this season, but they'll start at Arsenal.
I didn't say Arsenal. They'll start at any big team.
Yeah, you saying
in
any
English
big team.
Premier League.
Arsenal
And he mentioned Arsenal.
One of the biggest
Now,
sides
should we
in
include
football.
Arsenal in the list of big teams?
Literally, they are.
Okay.
They've
Plus Kulusevski bench in Arsenal.
Kulusevski has had a terrible season. This terrible season due to injuries.
Okay. Who does Son Heung-min bench at Arsenal?
I think Son Heung-min at Arsenal. I think I'll take out Martinelli and I'll bring in Son.
Why not? Martinelli and Son Heung-min, who's a better player?
Let me put it like this to you. Who gets the ball from his own box? Drive. So you cannot compare a finished product to someone just growing. That's why I would pick Martinelli over Son week in, week out. You know why? Even if Martinelli has bad games, he would create chances for you. He will not walk around the pitch keeping his head down saying, yeah, I blame it on my broken nose, I blame it on my lack of form. Martinelli was on the bench for how?
The past 30 league games, because like people will say you're good as the last game.
I was getting there. You're
good as the last game.
And one index you could use to judge a brilliant player's consistency over the past couple of seasons.
Martinelli has been Arsenal last. Who has the most goal contribution with a top striker, Harry Kane? This is a player that has got great partnerships with the likes of Christian Eriksen, Dele. We knew when this front four were dominating teams in England.
They are dominating, but they didn't win any trophy.
I won't be shocked if Arsenal wins the trophy. I won't be shocked if
and they won the FA Cup.
I won't be shocked if Arsenal. I won't be shocked if Arsenal fail to win the title. I'm not trying to throw hate bombs and the rest. The truth is, Martinelli has been brilliant this season. Saka has been brilliant this season. Son is one of the most underrated attacker in Europe. He's one of the most underrated attacker.
Underrated because at some point Real Madrid wanted to get Son, but Son said no. I'm going to say at Tottenham, I'm trying to win something. He renewed
Son has always
if you're looking at Arsenal,
under the limelight.
Arsenal signed Gabriel Martinelli from a tier side in Brazilian football for what, 6 million? That's how much Arsenal got Martinelli, and to go from that. Now think about what he's going to do when he's 25, 26, 27.
All right. So who does Harry Kane bench at Arsenal?
Nketiah on the bench. That's for me. Harry Kane,
Gabriel Jesus. Who starts a match for you?
I would prefer Gabriel Jesus anytime because he's versatile. He can drop in, he can play. People will say, yeah, Harry Kane can play the ball, but Harry Kane cannot move with the ball as quick as
this is a man who's the opponent he has scored most is literally Arsenal.
You're scoring goals, but have you won any?
But that's a conversation.
Come out and say Arsenal has got the best defense this season. But there is one man who has scored this same best defense in both encounters. But literally, I feel Harry Kane. Yes, he's not one. He's not one. There are some people who don't know who are not literally big winners when they work with groups, but they are winners individually. I think you understand. Individually. I think that's Harry Kane for you. I think for Harry Kane, he's working with a team that has failed him over time.
But it comes good.
Kane has scored 22 goals this season, which has resulted. 23 goals, which has resulted to 22 points for Tottenham. I think there were speculations about him moving before going to Arsenal. I think he wouldn't have survived. He would have played from the flanks.
Would he be as impactful to Tottenham as Harry Kane is?
From the flanks, yes, he would be more convincing than Kulusevski. And now that Son is off form, he would have been a greater impact because Lucas Moura is not even getting games again. You don't see Lucas Moura getting games.
Who's the better striker? Harry Kane, Son Heung-min. Harry Kane, Gabriel Jesus.
In terms of finishing, obviously you go for Harry Kane because Gabriel Jesus misses key chances. But listen to what I'm saying. It's not about I'm not saying if it fits the formation of Arsenal, if it fits the style of play of Arsenal, then I'm definitely going for Gabriel Jesus. You give me another striker. If you're saying, okay, Roberto Firmino in Arsenal or Harry Kane at Arsenal, I'll go for Roberto Firmino because he does the same thing that Gabriel Jesus does.
I'll tell you one thing that Kane has, and the only striker who has that is Roberto Firmino. Like you said, Kane is the only striker who drops deep to the opposition, box, picks the ball, creates chances, and flips it to Son. Kane is only that. Most times we've seen Benzema, do this for Real Madrid. Drops deep to the defense, picks the ball and flips it to, either Vinicius Junior or Rodrigo. We've seen the same for Harry Kane. Harry Kane is not just a man who you will tell.
Of all these passes from Harry Kane, he's not even up to 50. That's what I'm saying. Now, if you say Gabriel Jesus, he gets the ball from the halfway line. I would go for Gabriel Jesus anytime.
All right. Well, let's get you to be a part of the conversation. The numbers will be displayed right on your screen right now. So put a call across to us. Well, this conversation took a whole different turn entirely. We already talk about Tottenham and, of course, Vincent company. But, somehow the guys here brought us to comparison between the Tottenham team and the Arsenal team, which is better. So put scores across us and tell us if you think Harry Kane would start at Arsenal and I think Gabriel Jesus would start at Arsenal. Put scores across us right now. But let's go into an interesting matchup. Good evening to everybody, by the way. Southampton will take on Crystal Palace. Everton take on Fulham. Tottenham against Bournemouth. Wolves against Brentford. Chelsea. This was supposed to be a reunion for Graham Potter, but sadly he's not here. Chelsea take on Brighton, by the way. It's time for big games expected. And might not look like those big games, but it's certainly an interesting encounter. Aston Villa against Newcastle. Now here's the context. Aston Villa, before Emery were 16th.
Yeah, it is. Literally for Aston Villa, one thing has changed since the introduction of Unai Emery. They've scored in every match games that they've played. I think they've played. I think 14. Literally, this is a team who has improved themselves under a new manager. We saw Leon Bailey struggled under Steven Gerrard. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we've seen is for Aston Villa, they are yet to lose in their last 6 home games against Newcastle. They've won 3 and they've drawn 3. But for Newcastle this season, they are hoping to win back. They're hoping to win 4 straight away games in the Premier League this season. After beating Manchester United, that defeat against West Ham, Aston Villa wants to make a major statement and see if they could sneak themselves into any of the Europa places or the Conference League spot. But the major question would have to be, there will be a significant change in this game. For Newcastle, they will be without Miguel Almiron, and for Aston Villa, all of their players are intact except from Leon Bailey. I think at this point in time, this is where we'll have to see made impactful, tactical balance for Newcastle.
Now, let's talk about something. There's a conversation, that's erupted in the social media space for the past couple of days, and it's about Unai Emery's time at Arsenal. Now, people think that if Unai Emery was given the patience that Arsenal was given to Mikel Arteta, that Arsenal by now would have won the Premier League title at least twice.
You can't live your life
based
on ifs and
what
ifs. Yes. So I saw Unai Emery at Arsenal. Yes, he did.
Do you think he was impressive?
He did great for the squad he was given. He did great. He never got the backing. But the same thing with Arteta. Arteta has not spent that much. It was only after his first 2 seasons that they now they gave him the money to spend and get the players that he thought he needed. They've actually turned up great for Arsenal at this point in time. So you can't just come and say that, Arsenal have won the Premier League title 2 times with Unai Emery in it when you have Liverpool that were dominant for the past 5 years, Man City dominant for the past 5 years. Yeah. Chelsea were even dominant for the past 5 years as well. So to see Arsenal with that squad we had break into the top 4, even the top 3, even the top 2, and win the league supposedly, that I did not see that happening. And let's not forget, this season all round, apart from the top 2 sides, because Fulham now have been so inconsistent now, they've not won any of the last 3 games. The same thing with Brighton. Brighton struggled to win. They win 1 and then they draw 1. Brentford as well, dropping points as well. So that is what has enabled Aston Villa to climb into the top 7 of the Premier League table. Can they win Newcastle? Definitely. That's again, so many tricky ties happening this week. Newcastle want to win the top 4. Newcastle need to win games.
Well, Lisandro Martinez sadly is out. Had that dreadful foot injury in the Europa League. Rafael Varane also was ruled out of the game. Now United are left with the great Harry, the big Harry,
save our soul,
the big Harry Maguire, and Victor Lindelof is also in and around the scene trying to get himself part of that. Now United are chasing a top 4 finish because there's Newcastle also trying to get there as well to that number 4 position. There's also a chance for Tottenham too. If United slip. Now, should Manchester United trust Harry Maguire and Lindelof in the absence of Martinez and Varane?
I think the thing people seem to forget with football players is that they're actually human beings as well. So as soon as you start motivating them, as soon as they start saying that, okay, you've got their backs, that you are there for them no matter what, they will give in their 100%.
Hasn't Maguire got this motivation?
What kind of motivation does Harry Maguire needs in this life?
People forget Phil Jones. Before his whole crisis was one of the best rated.
I'm sorry, because you can't tell me. Sorry, you can't tell me the process Jadon Sancho went, the process Marcus Rashford went under Eric Ten Hag. You can't tell me Maguire, that huge tall guy, has not gone through that process.
No, that is what I'm saying. And then secondly, I know you want to talk about the own goal against Sevilla, but was that really his fault?
You can't really blame him. He was trying his best to block these goals. The same thing happened against Arsenal when Arsenal conceded. I think it was a goal that against City that ricocheted off the Jack Grealish shot.
Yeah.
You can't really blame the defender. He's trying his best to defend. What you should blame is the midfielders and the attackers for letting the tempo drop off.
How bad is Maguire?
I'll just go this way. I think for me, I'll have to rate him, 6. He's one of the worst signings Manchester United have ever made. Paying that huge amount of money. People talk
okay, now let's forget about the money. Let's talk his performance.
In terms of his performance, see, I will say this. I will certainly say this. There are times where Maguire has been good. There's a difference between good, brilliant, top-notch, classic. There are times when Maguire has been good, and there are times where Maguire has put in Manchester United fans, taking their blood too hard
in penury.
Because you know why?
Now let's under shambles. We call Maguire. What about his defensive partners?
Now that's what I'm coming to, because if you see Maguire at England, the way he plays, he
plays so well.
He's good with the
now,
ball.
As a matter of fact, it's a lie. I'm coming, Billy.
I could mention
games. We'll talk, Billy. We'll talk. One on you. Now, Maguire is the English national team's highest scoring defender in history.
Notice from Maguire.
Yeah.
From John Stones had the same issue at Manchester City until they went and got a very brilliant and consistent defensive midfielder, not just a partner.
Yeah.
You need that midfield backing. That's why I complain about, because you can't let them shoot a shot and then you say, oh, the defender should always block this ball. At England, they played with 2 sitting midfielders. That's Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice. But look at Manchester United. Look at David De Gea. You could argue that he makes great saves. He does great things.
But he's not good on the ball.
He's not good on the ball. So if you're a defender at that point in time and you've gotten the ball and someone is approaching you, you can't turn to your goalkeeper. And then you have to do the unthinkable and say, okay, let me try and play this out on my own. Because if he gives the ball to De Gea, there's no guarantee that De Gea will play this ball out safely.
Now, Billy, is Maguire the problem?
Yes. Because if Maguire is not the problem, he should be starting every game.
And now that's it.
I'm sorry.
No.
Because, sorry, this is the truth. Eric Ten Hag proved to us that Maguire is the problem.
How?
Lisandro Martinez has 40 games. For Varane has 35 games in all competition this season.
Maguire was signed by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right?
Yeah.
Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, back-to-back seasons, took United to the Champions League, right? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took United to 3 different cup finals, right?
Yeah.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took United to the Europa League final, all with Harry Maguire, right?
Now, hear me out.
So, how is Maguire the problem then?
Hear me out. The thing is, Maguire does not have that pace. So now playing at United where they
you play to his strength normally.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now you play to his strength, but they cannot play to his strength because they've got a goalkeeper like David De Gea. So you can't say, okay, let me play a high line. Maguire plays a high line, yes, quite fine. But if you see, most times Maguire gets cut off because he's trying to protect David De Gea. Because David De Gea will never come out of his own box.
Why protect a goalkeeper who knows how to protect himself? Because
if you notice now, Premier League teams are dealing with sweeper goalkeepers that come out of their line. Pickford does the same thing. David Raya does the same thing. Now people complain. Why don't they call up David De Gea for Spain anymore? He can't play the ball out of his own box. He's not good with passing. The Sevilla game, he was terrible. Casemiro was also terrible in that Sevilla game. So that for the fans to just come out and blame Harry Maguire,
hateful.
No, you're not. You're just letting in your thoughts.
And I'll state this out. This is the thing. The question is, what is Maguire good at? Play from the back. Making interceptions is not the best. He's awful. Making clinical tackles is not the best. Coordinating defense. I think he's got that leadership skills. Accepted, but there are times where he's been lacking. But the question would have to be, I keep on saying this, Maguire's major problem is he lacked concentration. You know that the ball is coming in. There's one thing on your head is to do what? Clear the ball away from the post. And now this is the thing. When you've got your attention on David De Gea, who knows how to take care of himself by making save, and when you've got your attention on something else, you get distracted, and I don't know, you literally pass the ball, and when you get yourself back, you're like, oh no, I wasn't supposed to do this and rest.
Let's come back to Maguire. For instance, that Sevilla game. Apart from that own goal situation, was Maguire terrible in that game?
Entirely, literally, Licha was still present, so we saw a little bit of stability.
Really?
Yeah, we did. Like he said, Manchester United, I think the major fault would have to come from, the coach. at some point in time he thought he has won the game, but he has forgotten the fact that
you can't say he performed poor. And this is the same thing because he just proves my point, right? A ball is coming in, clear the ball, yes, fine. That's easy for any defender of that quality. But now, once you've got the fans screaming at you, you don't have the backing from the fans. So that's in your head also. You're like, okay, I do not need to make a mistake. I do not need to screw up at this point in time. That messes with the player mentally. So now people don't believe in mental illness. Just take a look at Jadon Sancho because he's still, no matter what anyone wants to say, he's still not at his best.
Even Maguire has been asked to stay off social media because of the kind of comments he gets on his post. The fans are not fair to him.
Malaysia was terrible in that game.
You talk about Phil Jones. This is a player at United.
No, in Phil Jones' defense, to me, the few games he played under Ole and Michael Carrick, I was impressed with him because he could keep the ball at his feet.
Definitely.
He could play out the ball. So,
but on a scale, you definitely know Phil Jones is quite terrible.
Phil Jones walk into this Tottenham Hotspur side and bench anybody there.
How wish Hazard is still in his form, and then probably I will see Phil Jones in the defense. But this is the thing.
We're not talking about Phil Jones, please.
Sorry, this is the thing. I wouldn't say Maguire. I wouldn't say Maguire is a terrible defender. I will never say that. But the thing is, Maguire is not Manchester United quality. This is the truth. Once Manchester United fans see Maguire in the starting lineup, nobody has been absolutely brilliant and sensational for Manchester United in the past seasons. I don't think he'll be getting this much criticism. Look at Bruno Fernandes. Look at the impact he has made.
What if United are not just fair with Maguire?
Seasons with inconsistency at Manchester United. 5 good seasons. It's not that he's had 2 seasons and then he's been sent out on loan. Or it's not that he's had 2 seasons. When you look at his past 4 seasons, he has not been reliable. Nobody can rely on Maguire. If Maguire is this reliable, then he should be starting every game for Manchester United.
All right, well, this is a conversation we'll have to continue later next week, Saturday, because time is up. Injury concerns.
Yeah. Bailey is a great defender, but for Harry Maguire's case, it's the same thing I said with Samuel Chukwueze. Most players are not big team players. Most players cannot handle that pressure. Maguire is one of them. Jadon Sancho cannot handle the spotlight, for what I'm saying, because he crumbles every time. So you've got big team players that can handle that press, players that can handle the pressure from the fans, and then you've got players that just want to be on Man City the same way you have it as on Manchester United.
Yeah, the particular player.
Yeah. So we got you got when John Stones came to Man City, he was struggling for form. He was sitting on the bench. They signed him for a huge amount of money, but you never saw the press or you never saw the Man City fans come online training on Twitter saying,
Manchester City don't have fans.
Even Calvin Phillips,
they don't have fans.
They are just building the fans base. Building the fans, but we can't compare
the United fan base is
that comes from the United side of Manchester.
It's not
the fan system. I think one team who has the larger fan system in English Premier League has to be Manchester United. Then Chelsea. Will you tell me if Calvin Phillips is in Chelsea and he's playing this?
One thing I'm failing to understand, guys, as we wrap up, is the fact that I don't think Ruben Dias is that much of a decent defender.
Thank you.
But City perform. So here's what I'm going to. The onus is on United as a team to back up Maguire, to cover him up with fine performances.
But
that's it for the show. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I know this Maguire story.
Defense wins you game, even if attack score goals.
Well,
that's the problem.
It's the midfield that wins the games.
It's a lie.
Look at Thomas Partey, for example. Look at Manchester.
Look at United. It was Casemiro.
If your midfield cannot control the ball, your defense will always be exposed. That's
ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We do this again on Saturday. The intensity here is quite very, very interesting. But Saturday we'll do this again at 9:30 to 11. Do also, of course, head to TV_NG, and of course on Facebook is Spectrum Television. Head to our website at www.spectrumtelevision.ng. And well, personally on Facebook, I am Isaac. On Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, it's MR_Marizona. That's Mr. Marizona. MR_Marizona. What's yours, Wana? Social media.
On Twitter, it's at Wana EK.
Alright,
Ezekiel Billy on all social media platforms.
Here it's ciao, adios.
Louis Gasset, it is corner now.